What's up, everyone? I'm making episode 2 here of my journey to become a profitable prop firm trader. These trades I'm going to talk through today, I did on Monday. It's currently Wednesday. I was trading from a different country, couldn't really record over there, so took some trades, but I want to share every single trade that I take in this just for transparency, so it's a more legitimate journey, and also to help myself as well to improve. So I'm going to go through the trades that I took. These were, like I said, all on Monday. It was a bit of a mess. I didn't trade particularly well, but I came out. I think I was up about 140-ish. I'll bring up the account so you can see where they're at now. I only traded on the first account, so these are all on one account. First trade took at 9:38. I will go through my kind of like strategy in a minute for my next trades. Essentially, we broke this opening range flag to the downside and then came back up. And my thought process was we probably have some shorts trapped. The problem I have here, and the reason it wasn't a great trade, is this flag is not long enough for me. I have a criteria in that, and I broke that criteria. So this was a bad trade. It's the right idea, but it wasn't a legitimate entry. I realized that, and when we got this push into here, I cut the risk. To be honest, I probably should have at that point just taken it off once we got down to here, but here's what it is. Next trade I took was actually much better because we now have this flag. So my whole kind of approach to trading is once I've got a reason to be bullish, and in this instance, my reason to be bullish was we were making higher lows, higher highs, we're in a very clear uptrend, and we also have this area here that broke out, and we can see that this flag was formed at that level. So for me, I've got a very clear reason to be bullish. The next thing that I look for is what I call an imbalance of active market participants. Easiest way to think about this is you've got people who are long and people who are short. If we've got a situation where you've got lots of people who are long, so we've got lots of people long on this side and nobody short, so an example of that would be up here when this flag breaks. The only way for this to keep on moving higher is for more people to enter the market long. And for me, I feel that's too much of a gamble. We have to rely on other people entering the market at a worse price than we have got in at. It can work, but I find that way of trading, you end up having a much lower win percentage. It's much harder to hold positions because you get pullbacks, etc. So instead, what I want to look for is if I'm going long, I want the opposite, and I want a situation where I can go, look, we've got lots of people who are now short. We've got very few or nobody long. These people who are short, they have to at some point buy because the moves that we're trying to take advantage of in general as day traders is going to be based off of retail traders. So everybody who goes short, they need to at some point buy back. Essentially, it's a trap, right? It's an easy way to describe it. So in here, let's get rid of all of that. In here, we had a really nice trap. We have a flag that lasted about 7 minutes. There's plenty of reason to be bearish here, right? We put in a high, kind of put in a new mini lower low. I wouldn't personally count that, but I know some people will. We have a flag, and then we have an aggressive break of that flag. So now we've got that situation where we've got lots of people who are short. Anybody who bought this flag long, initially like I did, they've been stopped out. So we don't have anybody long. So we've just got lots of people who are short. However, we were coming into this area of previous support in here where we broke out from before. So I still want to be a buyer here. And we've now got kind of all the ingredients. We've got lots of people short who need to buy. And we're in an area where we have seen in the past buyers have come in. So we've got everything we need now. Still didn't do the best job trading. I wanted to I wanted to wait for a flag, and my flags, I typically have a rule that I'm waiting for 3 candles. For some reason, I decided to jump in on the break of this candle, and I got in long, and I immediately realized I might be in a tiny bit early here. So got stopped out, but then realized that, well, actually now I have my legitimate opportunity. So this position here I took about half size on, so I didn't take a huge loss. I think on that one I lost $71. On this long here, I went full size and lost 1R, so $185. So at this point, I was down around about 250 on the day. Then something a bit weird happened. So I have my order ready in here, and when I take a trade, I use this feature on Wealth Charts where you can put in a long position. You can set this to be how much I've set it to be, maximum risk of 200. As you move this, it changes the amount of size you can take. So I had set this in here to enter me on the break of this candle, risking probably to here. And as you can see, 4 positions. However, I put that in and still had this set to here. And these obviously can move pretty quickly. That's the whole point of these trades, I think. But I wanted to make sure my position was on. This was a bit of a news spike. I'm not sure exactly what the news was. I got in and it hit this target immediately, and I made about 120 bucks on it. And I was a little bit annoyed because it's already hit my target. But what I did was I still had this drawn out to be where it should be, which is this high plus a little bit. And so I just re-entered the position. I just put an order in. It came down, filled me, and obviously went and hit my target again. So I got quite fortunate here because I ended up making, on this trade here, the final trade of the day, I made $276. So that was pretty much the amount I was down. But then I got that bit extra where I made another $120 or $130 or whatever. So I got a little bit fortunate on that, but at the same time, I'm just going to get rid of all this as well. At the same time, it worked out. My biggest mistake at the moment is these little things like counting this as a flag when it shouldn't have been, and then again getting in just a candle too early. And these 2 trades that I took, the long in here and the long there, they cost me about 1.25 R. And then this trade here that should have just simply been a plus 1.3 R or whatever trade meant that I ended up only profiting about 0.6 of an R in the end. So these 2 mistakes really did cost me, but at least I ended the day green. I then went out for the rest of the day, didn't really have anything else to do with the markets. The only maybe trade would have been after this breakdown here, but it's not really a setup. And then yesterday I was flying back and couldn't trade. So, you know, for me, there wasn't actually any opportunities. I know that a lot of the guys in the Discord group I'm in really smashed yesterday, which was cool to see. I wouldn't have got any trades, so it was kind of fortunate in that respect. The day I was flying, there was nothing for me to actually do. I'll quickly bring over my accounts. So I moved the account names out of the way, but the top account is the only one I traded. Obviously, it doesn't show the P&L that I ended up, but you can see the difference. It's now up $382. That was the only account that I traded. These accounts, the first target on them is I think 1600. So slowly making our way towards it. I'm hoping I'll keep on improving, but that's that. 2 solid days P&L wise, I suppose, to start off, but definitely need to work on my performance of it. Let me know in the comments down below if you took some good trades yesterday, because that did look like an awesome day for a lot of people. And I'll see you again in the next video.